now. But until then, let's get into a little bit of the news. Just as we're getting ready to record, Nintendo actually revealed that they have cast Link and Zelda in their upcoming film that is coming in 2027. The actors playing Link and Zelda are Bo Bragason as Zelda and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as Link. If you're like, I don't know who they are, you're in good shape. They're kind of relatively unknowns. Not that they haven't been in anything before. You might have seen Ainsworth in Haunting of Bly Manor, which was the not nearly as good follow-up to Haunting of Hill House from Mike Flanagan on Netflix, but still good, just not as good. So it seems like they're kind of going with two relative unknown actors. I know that there had been both. I couldn't tell how much it was fan casting and how much of it was legitimate leaks from the casting process of Hunter Schafer being thought of as potentially Zelda. Which, if you look up any photo of Hunter Schafer, you will. She just looks like an elf.
Yeah,
definitely would have been like an incredibly good casting for the character, but it seems like they're skewing a lot younger with the ages of the kids here. I guess
true.
One is a kid, 16, another is 21. But like we're going a little bit younger than Hunter Schafer.
Wait, which one's 21?
Are we trying to do problematic age gap here? Zelda is 21 and Link is 16.
That's what I thought.
That makes sense.
Then once I thought it, I was like, do I want to share that thought? What if I'm wrong? I don't want to be like,
if you're gonna do
older than
like you would want. I guess that's the
I
one.
was just guessing based on these photos that are in the link that you sent us.
the Nintendo tweet.
But it could go the other way in a weird, like sometimes it happens that way where people like have really, really strong baby faces. I'm like, is that guy 21? No.
Because it's a Tom Holland kind of kid that we're working with.
I mean, if they, I'm curious to hear what I think we chatted about this briefly when the product or the project was first announced. Like this one's being made with Sony as opposed to Universal. Universal is where Nintendo partnered with Universal and Illumination to do the Mario Brothers movie. This is a separate project with a separate production studio, and also crucially is live action as opposed to animated. But also, in the games, people pair. They are a couple, but not really. You know what I mean? Like it is not. So the idea that necessarily the film adaptation would involve a romance between the two, I think, is not necessarily the case. But Kata, what were you gonna say?
Will he ever talk?
Yes, 100%.
God,
come on.
What's his first word gonna be?
He should never talk. I want him to never say a word. Only grunts and surprises. You could have
maybe gotten away with that in an animated version. I do not think you could get away with that in a live action version of.
God damn it! They're gonna ruin it.
I think his first words are gonna be Princess Zelda.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
He's kind of like he's really an employee. This is the classic proximity lovers trope.
They're gonna lean really hard into the only other voicing of Link that includes dialogue, the CDI version.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, princess.
It does kind of make it interesting because that was sort of fascinating to watch with the Mario Brothers movie, and that stuff was like pretty hit or miss based on the actors. Well, Chris Pratt just didn't even really try to emulate. Chris Pratt just talked like Chris Pratt, and I thought the movie was fine. Like it's a perfectly entertaining movie, but it doesn't really rise above what's on the tin. It's like, what do you imagine like a pretty generic Mario Brothers movie would be? Well, they made it. Looked really beautiful because Illumination makes like pretty movies, but pretty bog standard otherwise. And really, the only standout was what's his face as Luigi. The guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I thought he did a pretty good job putting his own spin on
Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
What's his real name?
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day? Actually, okay. He's Charlie in the show, and I was like, Charlie is
Day.
Looking at something, and Charlie Day is actually the name of the actor.
No, I remember that because Glenn Howerton's the only one who didn't use his own name because the character was too abhorrent for him.
That's really funny.
Everyone else was like, yeah, these idiots or whatever, but we can just use our real names. And he's like, I cannot he's gotta be Dennis. I cannot.
Ah, that's so good. I did not realize that was the case, but that does make a lot of sense. But I'm curious, like, have you like thoughts changed? Like, where do you land on the film now that lots of movies are announced, especially video game movies are announced, and then there's plenty of reason there's a reason we often don't bring them up on the podcast because like, oh, someone has acquired the rights to something. That's not making a movie, and so many things rights get acquired. Projects get announced and they don't head towards any meaningful finish line. But this has a director. It's got a new script. It now has main actors. And my understanding is that it starts shooting in November and has a concrete release date. So, like, where do you sit with Nintendo choosing to go this path with The Legend of Zelda?
I think there's like a very little chance that this movie is good. Like, like, what's the best video game movie? It's probably still like a C movie. You know, and I struggle to imagine this being different. I do think the fantasy angle could be fun.
Right. Is it the Mario movie?
If it is, then the best one is like a D-list movie. Because like I would never watch that if it didn't have Mario in it. And I think I only watched it because my dad wanted to see something. And it's like, this is a family.
I think the actual answer is the original Mario Brothers movie with John Leguizamo.
Well, the Sonic the Hedgehog movies are good.
Yeah, I haven't.
Okay, you know, pretty good.
Okay.
I haven't watched them, so
right,
I'm gonna.
The Minecraft movie is nightmarish in many ways, but actually has some decent laughs. I actually had a okay time with that movie. Do we count? Well, I guess if it's right, we have to take TV off the table, right? So that means Last of Us doesn't count. Arcane doesn't count.
Correct.
Because then you could get some stuff that is like legitimately.
Yeah, here
good.
Arcane's really good, and last season 1 was good.
Well, season 2 is
season
2 is very beautiful.
I said season 1 was good.
Yeah,
season 1. No, season 1 again. It was actually too faithful. Like the best thing of season 1 was when they did their own thing with Billstown, and then they're like, and then we just made the game again, and I'm like, well, that's not really that interesting. So yeah, I mean, I am interested. I probably will watch this. Because why not? You know, be part of the conversation.
Mortal Kombat, the original Mortal Kombat from 1995. That is an excellent. That's just a good movie. That is a like.
Did y'all see the new one?
I didn't like it at all.
Bizarre.
I think so.
Bizarre.
Did nothing for
me.
Me.
There were some good like. There were some good fights in that, but like, what a fucking wild.
Inventing the character for the movie was.
Just like the whole premise. All of the like motivation, it was so just bonkers.
And yeah, they cast Carl Urban as Johnny Cage for the sequel, so you got me right back. Like I like Johnny, like that is incredible, exquisite casting, God. And so I don't know if that movie's going to be any good, but yeah, it's just really difficult for me to figure out what you're even. You know, my speculation has always been, I don't think there's been any leaks about sort of like what the script is, like what story are they adapting? Like if any,
right.
What setting is it going to be in the many settings of The Legend of Zelda, which spans like a bunch of different histories and eras of Hyrule. I assume that, you know, Nintendo is kind of going for consistency in some of their like properties that go across, like if you look at the Donkey Kong, model in the new Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I haven't played yet. I'll be able to talk about it next week. That looks a lot like the character model in the movie. Like there seems to be like trying to sync up like sort of a holistic view of what Donkey Kong looks like, what Mario looks like, even if there's like room for change in each like kind of medium that it's showing up in. But like Skyward Sword, like that setting strikes me as like the most story rich and like recent arc, and it's popular in the video game. That strikes me as it also gives Princess Zelda the most to do of like any of the.
Wait, do you mean Tears or?
I don't know. I just mean that era. I just mean that like, or not Skyward Sword. Sorry. Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah.
And why am I?
And Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Like those games like broke out into the mainstream in a way other Zelda games have not. Those have like, again, gives Zelda the most agency of
I think
any of the like Zelda game or the Legend of Zelda games. So it strikes me as that would be the era that would probably set all of this in.
I do feel like if you do it right, you could do Ocarina of Time era.
Sure.
Because Zelda is chic, right? Like you put her in that.
I was
but,
thinking
like,
that too a little bit.
Is that enough for the actress? Who knows, right? Like, the rest of it, it feels like, I feel like if it's anything like the Mario movie, it's non-canonical sort of like mishmash of different things from different eras, right? Like there's always like
references that people will be like, I know the Master Sword.
It
yes,
it has to be more, but like the weight of it being live action just requires, like, it has to be. So if you were to make the equivalent quality of the Mario Brothers animated film, but just did that in live action, that would look awful. But like just like go with me. Like the quality level of that animated film just translated to live action would come across much worse, because like there's just so much more weight on live action to buy into the world. It also means it's appealing to like a wider set of audiences, where like I think animation, for reasons that are bad, is presumed to be for kids and families, and so we lower our quality bar sort of as a result. But the moment like I'm looking at a kid holding a Master Sword in live action, my expectation of like what the story and like how good this movie is supposed to be, I think goes up as a result. And I think so that's why I think the weight on this movie is just like so much more than had they chose to go stylized animation, which I still think they should have done. That just makes more sense for kind of all of Nintendo's properties. But you know, if you wanted to break out, I guess maybe, you know, to stand out, I suppose live action is one way to go. I just don't know how you're going to do some of the more fantastical elements of Legend of Zelda.
I think it's just going to lean like
action.
really fantasy based and like lore based. I think it's going to be like, I think it's going to be wildly lore rich for no reason. Because like,
well, that's what the Zelda games kind of are, right? Like, why is there a timeline that anyone cares about? It's all happenstance and by accident. And actually, Legend of Zelda fits itself perfectly to be, quote, non-canonical. Because even the Zelda, go look at a Zelda timeline. Like, it already is kind of non-canonical in and of itself, as it attempts to be canonical in different, like, route trees.
And I think it's going to be kind of, this is, like, so, like, mismatched. It doesn't, like, mean anything, but I think people will get the vibes. I think it's going to be kind of, like, Star Wars-y. Like this idea of like, okay, who is like Link and like who's Link to the Ages, and you'll do like looking at a book, probably like an old person talking to like a young kid and showing them like the book of like who Link is or whatever, and then we'll have at the end the vibe of like holding up the mop, like from Star. Like I think they'll lean into that kind of thing.
The mop?
Last Jedi.
Yeah, The Last Jedi, where they like hold up the mop and it's like anyone can be a Jedi.
And I got really confused.
No, grab that mop, grab that
Empire
mop.
Strikes Back, the famous mop scene.
The famous mop scene, yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be kind of that, and then it'll be, I don't know, the kid, like Link realizing that or stepping into the role of Link. Because also, if you look at like other live action video game adaptations, not that they're just going to say, you did that, so we'll do that. That's kind of what the Uncharted movie was doing, right? Where it's like, it's sort of how it came to be, but then drawing inspiration from these other elements that you've seen in the game and kind of mishmashing that into like an experience where it's like, if you got nothing else, it could be okay. But if you got something more, we could make more if you would buy more. So like, I think they want to leave a little bit of that grace there for that. But so I'd be a little surprised if it's more of a direct adaptation of a game. I think it would be more just like lore and going through dungeons, and I wonder how interesting those dungeons will be, because I feel like it's hard to make, like, there's games have such great dungeons, but I feel like they don't look interesting to like when you watch them is the thing. So I think games, and you know, you saw that struggle with Uncharted as well, where it's just this very like, I guess this is okay, and it's kind of like what you did in the game, which also arguably doesn't have great dungeons either, because it's more of an action game. But yeah, I think there'll be a lot of that. You'll be in like a cellar in the castle and things, and fighting, you know, bokoblins, and then there'll be maybe like a wild like
a Deku tree is going to
thing.
be built on a set. Like I probably a Deku tree is being built right now on a set.
Great fairy
that will leak
fountain
out at some point.
It'll probably look less slutty than it normally does, but.
Now,
I don't know, will it? Like,
they should really lean into this. Imagine trying to bridge that aesthetic.
How sultry is this great fairy fountain going to be? Because we know it's going to have a great fairy fountain. We know it's going to have the Master Sword.
Make Hunter Schafer the fairy. Come on. We can rescue this.
Yes.
We can still freak out the transphobes who thought they dodged the bullet.
They're going to shoot an arrow into an eye at one point.
Oh,
that will happen.
slow down, like you go, like and there'll be a.
Yeah, definitely. Epona's gonna be there for some reason, or a horse. Maybe not Epona, but a horse will be there.
It's gotta be Epona.
We'll see a horse.
It'll be red. It'll be red. It'll be Epona.
And I feel like the tone, like I think it's easy to wonder if it'd be like an oppressive tone, but I feel like they're more likely to go for James Gunn, right? Like Guardians of the Galaxy, like. Like he skews a little
music, just kind of.
He skews a little edgier, but and
I haven't seen this movie, but for some reason my brain won't stop screaming. It's like the Percy Jackson films,
sure,
because that's I feel like the most recent, like kids adventure.
They've readapted those for TV. I keep seeing promotions for them on Disney Plus. I'm not familiar with it. That series came out as I kind of graduated out of like.
Yeah.
At that point, I was reading about killing God, which you were able to then point out to us. What was the Amber Spyglass? That's the book.
The Amber Spyglass is the third book in His Dark Materials. Which, by the way, that author is making a new trilogy. He's through 2 books called The Book of Dust that follows Lyra when she's an adult, and they're really good.
In a post-God world. Wow, we should just.
Yeah. It's
we can do Remap Book Club, but I'll listen to it on audiobook, and then we'll just talk about the His Dark Materials theory.
Yeah. 100%. We should. Those books are fucking sick.
I really liked the first 2. I just, like as I said,
and yeah, you're right. The HBO adaptation is probably the best that has existed. Although I disagree with some of the choices they made in the structure between book 1 and book 2. They interleaved them in an interesting way, and it kind of ends up working. But
you could do worse.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think as y'all pointed out, the Nicole Kidman movie is just doomed to fail, unfortunately.
There'll be an ocarina.
There'll
be an ocarina.
Also, I imagine I'm waiting for like the cast basically unknowns for the Link and Zelda characters, but I expect like a major actor to be cast as Ganon. Like I'm waiting for Mads Mikkelsen as Ganondorf in The Legend of, but someone like that, you know what I mean? Like, or I think it will not be
Dev
unknown.
Patel.
Man, he could bulk. Figure it out. Put him in. He
could bulk up. He could bulk up.
God, he is.
Put him in a suit.
What's that movie where?
Oh no! You get Jason Momoa.
I was literally googling.
No, he doesn't.
That is too easy.
I started googling Jason Momoa.
He's not intimidating enough.
He could be.
But if they go for that, like if they're going for a more lighthearted tone, I guess Momoa would fit.
Well, he's been playing so light in his roles recently.
I mean, he's Aquaman.
Like kind of like a goofy person. I
know Aquaman's not that serious, but
like
he's not
when
serious.
He was the villain in Fast and Furious, right? It was a very goofy like performance.
Jason Momoa in his queer-coded era of villains.
Yes,
he was good in Minecraft too. He's a funny guy, but I guess I'm associating with a lot with like lighthearted comedy stuff.
Right, but like I think he could probably turn it on if he's supposed to be in like a more serious role. But he's like the right build and everything, right?
That's true.
He's Ganon shaped. Why Ganon?
I just want
why
Dev
not
Patel
Ganon
on stilts
if Ganon
now.
shaped?
I feel like we just got to figure this out.
That's yeah.
Something like that. Something like a little.
Did you see Monkey Man?
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, that was sick. He got pretty ripped for that.
He wrote in.
But he didn't really.
He
bulk.
wrote and
directed
like, that, right? Or at least directed it.
Yes. Yes.
I know there are so many John Wick-alikes, and Monkey Man is a Wick-alike.
Wick-alike.
But much like Nobody.
Can you say Wick-alike again?
Wick-alike.
Wick-alike. Much like
That's
Nobody.
Sounds like a Pokemon.
Which has that does sound like a Pokemon.
Wick-alike. He found in the forest.
Nobody, which has Bob Odenkirk. That is also a good Wick-alike that is worth watching. And Monkey Man is absolutely. It has some of the gnarliest deaths like in a film that I have seen.
Yeah.
In a minute. I recommend folks check it out.
It's so cool.
Well, we'll keep our tab.
Ballerina.
No,
speaking of lookalikes,
I don't know. I like
fun.
I like Anna de Armas. Like I like a lot of the component parts, but I don't need like expansions of the Wickiverse. I guess that was my aversion.
Story.
Yeah, I got burned by watching the awful TV show.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't even I was like, that doesn't look good.
No, it was bad. Don't watch it. And actually, like, it was barely involved any of the main creatives, and they've since like disavowed it. Basically,
Ballerina was very fun, even if I feel like one or two pieces of like character motivation were a little confusing. Because it takes place in the middle of two movies that I kind of forgot where John Wick's personal stakes are at.
Sure. Yes.
And so it's like, maybe if I had watched them and had that a little more fresh in mind, it would have more intuitively made sense.
Is that one between 3 and 4 or 2 and 3?
Yeah. I believe it's after 3, which is the one that's Parabellum, right?
Yeah. Yes.